Here are the answers to the mental math questions. We have 245, 720, 35, 3/4, 34. Now, if you had looked in the book, I copied this wrong. It was a subtraction problem. So if you were looking at the answers in the book, the book had 16 because it would have been 25 minus 9. But I had a plus, so it's 34. 4/5 of 40 is 32. So good job with that, if you got them correct. And now we are going to move on and talk about proportions. Now, proportions are like basically fractions that are equal to each other. So a proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. So go ahead and write that. It is a statement that two ratios are equal. And below we have a proportion. So it's always a fraction equals a fraction. Okay. Now there's a lot we can see that it actually looks like a fraction reduced, right? Now there's some cool things about a proportion, and that a proportion, they all have a cross product. A cross product is when you take the denominator of one and multiply it by the numerator of the other. So the cross product here would be 4 times 20, and that would be 80. Now notice this cross product. 5 times 16 would be over here, and 5 times 16 also happens to be 80. So with proportions, their cross products are equal every time if it's a proportion, okay, if they're equivalent fractions. So sometimes when we are given a proportion, one of these terms is missing. One of the three terms is missing, and so we use this cross product trick to find the missing term. So what we say is, to find missing terms in a proportion, follow the two-step process. I want you to do the two-step process. We're not going to do it in our head because this is going to get us used to practicing solving equations algebraically. So we do need to, that's why this is in bold, we need to do it this way. It means I need to see it done exactly the way I am showing it. Okay? First we find the cross products. Next we divide the known product by the known factor, and I'll show you what that means in a moment. In fact, let's look at example 1. Solve the following proportion. Okay, so first find the cross product. So that would be 20 times n equals 30 times 12. So 20 times n looks like this. So we say 20 times n equals, and we could either say 12 times 30 or 30 times 12. It's the same. All right, so we did step 1, right? Find the cross products. We kind of have. We haven't simplified it though. When we say 20 times n, we can also just write 20n. That means multiplication, remember? So that's what this is simplified. We take it one step. And then equals 30 times 12. Well, I know 3 times 12 is 360. So 30 times 12, or sorry, 3 times 12 is 36. So 30 times 12 is 360. So now I've found the cross products and set them equal to each other. Step 2 is divide the known product, which is 360, by the known factor. So now the next step we do, because 20 times something equals 360, we take 360 and divide by 20. So we'd say n equals 360 over 20, and then let's reduce that. 360 over 20, or 360 divided by 20, is the same as 36 divided by 2, which happens to be 18. So n equals 18, and that's how we do those, and that's how we show it. I do need to see these steps line by line. Let's try another one. Example 2. And we have, this time we're missing the denominator of the first ratio. So again, we take the cross products, and I'm going to write 20x, not n this time. It's basically the same thing. 20x equals 15 times 32. Okay, now it's okay, 15 times 32 If you can't quite figure it out mentally, there are some tricks. You could do 15 times 30 and add 30. So 15 times 30 is, say, 15 times 3 with a 0. So 450 plus 30 more is 480. So you can do that mentally, or you could do it off to the side. And 20x. So now we have 20 times something equals 480. So that's something. We're going to divide both sides by 20, or we're going to take 480 divided by 20 and reduce. So that's the same as 48 divided by 2, which is 24. So x equals 24. All right, now the rest is practice. So you see how each of them took 1, 2, 3 lines to do? They each should have 3 lines of work shown. Okay, so you can shut it off, and I'm checking to see if the answer key also shows 3 lines. They start by showing the problem, then they have, they did 4, 5 lines. I'm letting you do it in at least 3 lines, okay? They have 5 in the answer key. So you need 3 to 5 lines to solve this. Ready, begin. Okay, so I have 6 times 12, which is 72, equals 8a. Well, a is 72 over 8, so a equals 9. So I took 1, 2, 3 lines to do it. All right, next one, 20b. Make sure I'm on the paper. 20b equals 30 times 16. So 20b equals 30 times 16 is 480. And divide both sides by 20, or 480 divided by 20. We get b equals 24. Okay, next one. We have 21c equals 15 times 24. And 15 times 24 happens to be 210. And divide both sides, or divide by 21. And we get 10, or c equals 10, because 21 times 10 is 210. Okay, the next one is 30d equals 25 times 24. Well, I know that 625 is 25 times 25, so it's going to be 600. 300d, or 30d equals 600. Divide by 30, so d equals 600 divided by 30. So 60 divided by 3, d equals 20. And the last two, fun. 100n equals 30 times 40. 100n equals 1200. N equals 1200 divided by 100. So n equals 12. And the last one, 900. Well, yeah, 9 times 100. I can leave it like that, equals 12m. So 900 divided by 12 equals m. And 12 goes into 975 times. And so we get 75 equals m. And there it is. That's the end of the lesson. Super fun. I actually love proportions. These are going to come up over and over and over. SAT tests, algebra, geometry, algebra again, and so on. So make sure you show your work.